Number 10. We know that poor ventilation can sometimes leave airline passengers feeling sleepy. Our busy traveler drifted off on his flight, but not before he took his finger off his laptop keyboard. A video uploaded on YouTube showing the sleeping man with his finger stuck pushing the slash key on his keyboard went viral, and has now been watched almost 1 million times since it was posted. It was apparently shot by his seatmate. Number 9. A Comcast technician went to replace a faulty modem. After spending an hour on hold with Comcast Central Office, he fell asleep on the client's couch. Customer Brian Finkelstein of Washington, D.C. posted a video of the sleeping technician and told this story on YouTube. Comcast was not amused and fired the guy. They also fixed the customer's problem. Number 8. Talk about getting trashed. 2 wasted people who fell asleep inside a Wawa dumpster in Tampa, Florida after a rowdy night at a nearby casino were tossed into the back of a garbage truck. The shocked driver, who was starting his route when he heard yelling and banging on the back of his vehicle, pulled over and found Donald Jordan, 37, and Lisa Cervella, 49, trapped in the back of his truck. The boozy duo appeared really intoxicated and were resting inside the dumpster after hitting the slots. They were rescued by emergency responders and taken to Tampa General Hospital, where they were treated for back pain. They were not homeless, as cops initially believed. Number 7. A Dublin man was found asleep on a pile of stolen cash with his accomplice after an armed robbery of a pharmacy. Luke Curry, 25, held open the security door of the shop while his accomplice entered. The other man was masked and carrying a kitchen knife. The staff in the pharmacy said that they were in fear during the robbery, in which 400 euros were stolen. As a result of inquiries and a local tip-off later that day, police went to a house near the pharmacy. They looked through a window of a house and saw the 2 suspects sleeping on a couch. Police entered the house and had to wake the men up. They found 275 euros of the stolen cash in a pile under where they were lying and arrested both men. Curry was too intoxicated to be interviewed, but later claimed he was in the pharmacy for innocent reasons. Number 6. A drunken student fell asleep on a radiator and woke up to find his arm melted to it. While he slept, the central heating system turned on, and the hapless drunk slumbered for hours before being woken up by searing pain in his left arm. The 21-year-old found his skin fused to the searing hot radiator, and he had to painfully peel himself off. Devin took himself to a hospital where he received specialist burn treatment, but is still carrying the scars of his ordeal. Number 5. If you thought being caught sleeping after a robbery was bad timing, wait until you hear this story. Police in Sarasota, Florida, arrested a man that broke into a home and fell asleep on the couch. A resident woke up and found 29-year-old Timothy Bontrager sleeping on her living room couch. When she asked Bontrager what he was doing in her house, he apologized and left after she told him she was calling the police. The woman then noticed her wallet, driver's license, credit and debit cards, as well as checks, were missing from the table in the living room. The suspect was found walking along a nearby road. He was transported to the Sarasota County Jail without incident. Number 4. During a Fox News segment to mark Super Tuesday in 2012, the presenter on duty was utterly flummoxed when he went live to the U.S. Capitol, only to find that his reporter had dozed off. For many Americans, Super Tuesday was an exciting, thrill-a-minute affair full of twists and turns. Not for reporter Doug Luzader, however. It soon became clear from the broadcast picture that Luzader had in fact fallen asleep. The presenter's attempts to awaken him proved fruitless. The broadcast did take place at 5:31 a.m. local time, which could explain Luzader's need for 40 winks. Number 3. A rape case collapsed after a senior judge was accused of snoozing while an alleged child abuse victim was giving evidence. Recorder Philip Catan, a respected Manchester barrister who sits as a judge part-time, was seen to nod off as the underage victim answered questions from the defense. While the jury was out of the room, the judge was confronted with the claim that he had slept through part of the cross-examination of the witness. The incident was witnessed by the family of the alleged victim. The decision was then taken to abandon the trial. She will now have to give her evidence a second time when the case is relisted. Number 2. Rome's Fiumicino Airport security procedures were under fire after a drunk Norwegian tourist fell asleep on a baggage belt and traveled 160 feet before being identified by an X-ray scanner. The unnamed 36-year-old arrived at the international terminal of Italy's busiest airport in 2012 with a backpack and a can of beer in his hand. The Norwegian was due to check in for a flight to Oslo. When he found no one on duty at the airline desk, he leapt across the counter and fell into a deep sleep on the baggage belt with his bag beside him. As the belt began to move, the unsuspecting tourist reportedly traveled for 15 minutes through the secure baggage area in Terminal 3 before officials spotted his body curled up in a fetal position in an X-ray image on their monitors. He slept through the whole episode, and airport police had trouble waking him when they were called to the scene to investigate what had happened. Number 1. In April 2015, a baggage handler for Alaska Airlines fell asleep in the cargo area of the plane and began yelling and pounding on the walls when he awoke. The passengers and crew of Alaska Airlines Flight 448, bound for Los Angeles, heard screams and banging noises coming from the cargo hold after takeoff. The passengers were told that the plane would return to the airport and they would be informed of the reason later. The employee spent 14 minutes in the pressurized, climate-controlled cargo hold and was taken to a local hospital when the plane landed.